Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hot Topic Tuesday on the SOS Show with Mary Evans. Tonight, we're having an amazing topic. As you know, the SOS Show is always trying to bring shows that will be impactful for people of color in particular. So, one of the things that I'm very passionate about is us learning the correct information about carrying a concealed weapon and defense classes for ladies. I would like to introduce my co-host from This is the Situation, a radio show, Timothy from Muskegon, Michigan. Thank
Hey,
you,
what's
sir,
going
for
on?
being part of the
No
show.
problem. No problem.
I'm
I'm
so
excited.
excited.
I'm excited for the information and for us to get to rocking.
All right. And today we have a special guest, Terrel Stevens, who is going to give us great information on carrying a concealed weapon. Welcome to the SOS Show Live with Mary Evans, virtual now. How are you this evening?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for having me.
I'm telling you, I've been waiting for this, looking for that special someone that can help us educate our people about carrying a concealed weapon. So one of the things that I also am going to be doing another show, Mr. Stevens, with a female that actually does, you guys do the same thing, and I would like to introduce you to, because collaboration is king. And one of the things that we have to get on our mindset, in particular our people, is that we could be doing the same thing and we all can make money and we can help and elevate each other and help our business grow, because in the area that she's in, she might know someone that's in your area that's looking for someone,
Right.
and vice versa. So I would definitely like to bring you guys together and would like to think of the SOS show as the collaboration platform to help our people grow. We united, we stand, and divided, we fall. Okay.
Okay.
So I thank you for being here today. I'm going to let you take the floor and give us some education on carrying a concealed weapon. I was talking to Timothy before the show, and Timothy, I would like to ask you a question before we start the show. What do you
Come
think?
on with it. Come on with it.
On the scale of 1 to 20, how important do you think it is for a lady to have her license and carry a concealed weapon?
Let me see. You said 1 to 10?
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad I just seen that. I'm gonna say 25.
25.
I think I'm gonna leave it at 25. So it's beyond the 10. I think that. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What do you think?
I was gonna get started. I think that our women need to be safeguarded and protected, because we ain't with them all the time, so they need to be able to secure and protect themselves when we not together. So most definitely they should have a weapon on them.
So Terrell, what do you think, and how many ladies do you train versus men?
I totally agree. A lot of women now, in the light of certain events, are getting their CPL license. But I think everyone should be armed, especially people of color, because a lot of people, we don't know that we can legally carry, and some people will carry, unlawfully and get a charge to where they can't carry, legally anymore, and now they're caught up in the system. So it's very important for all law-abiding citizens to be able to legally carry, because in all honesty, it reduces the crime rate. If you look at different states like California, Illinois, New Jersey, they have higher crime rates, and that's because they're not allowed to carry CPLs. So when you're allowed to carry CPLs, it actually reduces those rates.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know you do virtual training. What is your percentage of women that actually take the training?
Well, I honestly haven't tracked the percentage, but there is a lot of women that do, and especially single women, living alone, because, they are in fear with different things they're seeing in the news now, and even being out shopping. The recent light of events that happened with the lady from Pontiac being hit, a gun pointed at her and her child. So a lot of people are getting more conscious regarding those type of issues.
I've been carrying for a few years, and Timothy and I had this conversation, and you can back me up on this, Timothy. What I found is that when I first started carrying, I was in the range all the time. Then I sort of got comfortable, fell off, life got busy, and I've heard that it's just as bad to carry and not know how to use properly than not to carry at all. Timothy, what is your thoughts on that? When a person goes and buy a gun and they say, I'm carrying, it means nothing if you don't know how to properly shoot.
There's a phrase I think we heard before called there's trained and untrained. See, trained people know what they're doing, how they doing it, especially if you demonstrate. You know, if you pay attention to these people who are carrying arms and they not properly holding their finger off the trigger, the safety, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you know, people call them reckless and dangerous. I think, you know, if we train, that's very, very important to know what you're doing, because that's just like going out to fight. If you don't know how to fight, you're going to lose, but you're going to learn something, you know.
I see. Terrell, I've seen several videos, and this is something that went around for a long time, and I see posts on Facebook. You see a lot of other nationalities that's training their children to shoot, and I was actually on a post, and a white guy came on and said where blacks are teaching them to tap dance and sing, we're teaching them how to shoot a gun. Correct. Now, I know, have you seen those posts where they have them in the woods, they teaching them how to shoot, and a lot of these young children are really know how to shoot a gun properly. My question to you is, how do you feel about that? Because teaching a child how to shoot, because, you know, they think differently. These young children know how to shoot, and it's something that, you know, you can look at it positive, negative. How do you feel about teaching a child how to shoot?
I think it's very necessary. The reason being, most people look at firearms and they think they're dangerous. A firearm is a tool of last resort, but it's also a sport, right? So if you teach your children and they go into school or they're over the cousin's house or neighbor's house and they understand firearms and they have the correct knowledge, then one, they can get away from danger, or two, they're more informed and they can help someone else, maybe save a life. So yeah, I have a 6-year-old daughter, which, you know, she's aware of firearm safety, and, you know, you don't touch that. You know, you don't point a gun at someone loaded or unloaded. So it's the basics, and it's common sense. It's really not common that need to be taught in the Black community. I mean, it's just like credit or, you know, paying your bills and different things that we just kind of oversee.
It's a necessity.
Give that knowledge to the children. But as soon as we give that to the kids in our Black community, then, you know, they're more prepared in life, you know, to deal with firearms or adversity or anything else that may happen.
Now that you say that, I have read several posts where a young child has came across a gun and accidentally killed their brother or their cousin. So now that I'm listening to you, if we would teach them the basics about safety of a gun, it probably would have changed a lot of lives. Where if you see a post up, you see a lot of negativity about, oh my God, that's a shame, they shouldn't let the child have the weapon. But if you just at least teach the basics and safety, you agree that it's something that should be definitely taught in the Black community, because every other community is teaching it.
Right. Absolutely. If you take away the wow factor, like if they've never seen a firearm, or, you know, they're going to run to it. You know, it's a miseducation. So like you take away that thrill factor. It's like telling your child, do not go around the corner for whatever reason. Well, that's going to make that child want to go around the corner even more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a psychological thing. And then it's the media that tells us that firearms are dangerous, or Black people are dangerous, or, you know, whatever. You know, so you have to plant those seeds, give them the correct information and training, and we'll have less of these, you know, situations. We won't stop all of them, but we'll have a lot less.
That's because I'm glad that you said that, is because we need to educate our people on how to properly hold firearms, because growing up in the hood or growing up around the wrong things, we think that when you grab a gun, it's an illegal thing to do.
Right.
You know, but once you find out that you can be licensed, you can be properly trained, then you don't have to be putting yourself in situations to go to prison.
Exactly. Because like I said, with the CPL, that gives you the legal right and obligation to carry lawfully, right? So a firearm is a tool of last resort. The only reason you can use your firearm is if your life or someone else's life is in immediate danger. With that being said, if I'm at home and someone breaks in my car and they pull out my driveway with it, I can't run out and shoot them. Is my life in immediate danger? No. So, and even when you use your firearm with your life or someone else's life is in immediate danger, let's say Mary's life is in immediate danger and I'm seeing her being attacked with a bat or she's being shot at or beaten, I could come to her defense. I could not be charged criminally, but I could be sued civilly. I could be arrested. Doesn't mean that I'll be charged. But, you know, and if you do, I wouldn't make a statement to the police until you have a lawyer present. But you can come to an innocent person's defense. Now, that's a judgment call because a part of using your firearm, you have feelings of elation and remorse. So if you kill someone, I mean, unless you've killed someone previously, you don't know how that's going to make you feel and what effects it's going to have on you. So at that point, you have to make a judgment call. If you weren't armed with a CPL, what would you do? Would you call 911? Would you try to, you know, de-escalate the situation in some other way? So there's a lot of different things that plays, you know, in your mind before you get to that point, or it should be.
Dude, this is some deep information. Terrell, so if someone is breaking into my home, kicking the door in, if I shoot through the door and kill them, I can be charged because I'm not in direct danger. Is it true that they must be inside your home?
So I'm not a lawyer, but I'll explain this to you. So the course is actually called personal protection in the home, right?
Yes.
In order to take, that's the 8-hour course that is required to attain your CPL. So it talks about safe proofing your house, where you have a safe room where your firearm, your ammunition, your keys, things of that nature. You have, if someone's breaking in, you and your family can retreat there. You want to get on the phone, call the police, let them hear the whole conversation play out. If you can. It doesn't always happen that way, but if you can, that's what you want to do. You have to give a verbal warning. Let's say you stay in an apartment and your neighbor comes home drunk and they kick the door and they break in. If you just come out and just start shooting, you didn't give a verbal warning. I mean, you could possibly be charged. Or even if you're not charged, just think about it. You got your drunk neighbor, you know, get drunk all the time. You come home and it was an accident. You killed them. How will you feel? So no one can give you every point case and scenario, but if I'm breaking in your house and I'm kicking the door, technically you have to let me come in, right? Because I'm not immediate threat. Now, once I cross into your home, if your life is in immediate danger and that's what you have to feel and that's what you have to say, you can use lethal force. If I'm on the outside of the door, I'm not an immediate threat. Now, let's say I'm outside your door and I'm outside your house for that matter, and I'm shooting in the house at you. Your life is in immediate danger.
Okay.
I would say I would shoot back. Now, the problem with that is, and just like you guys stated earlier, when you have your firearm, you need to have proper training. You should probably go to the range at least once a month, depending on the skill level, because you're responsible for wherever your bullet goes. So let's say I'm standing outside your house and I'm shooting at you. If you return fire and you miss me and hit a neighbor's house and kill somebody, you're responsible for wherever that bullet goes. So you must know your target and what's beyond it at all times. And that brings us to like bullet selection and carry. For personal protection, you want to carry hollow point bullets, which are less likely to over penetrate. They go in and do more damage versus a full metal jacket. But that's
really,
that's a whole other conversation.
Say the name of the bullet again.
Hollow point.
Hollow point bullets.
Yep, and it's pretty much just what it says. There's different variations. It's just a hollow point, and what it does is it goes in flesh and it opens up a cavity wound, so it does more damage.
And in the meantime,
what people shoot at the gun range, and it's just a full metal tip that will leave a clean wound, so it's more likely to go in and come out, and that does less damage, and it also puts you more of a liability to hitting another target.
Okay, so we have a question. Agreed. What is the age cutoff to bring children to the gun range? My son he's 14 years old and he wants to learn. What is the age that a child can come to gun range?
It depends on some ranges. I've seen 16, maybe some outdoor ranges, maybe 12. So you could call the range and check and see, because they have outdoor ranges. People go out in rural areas and shoot as well. But I've seen different ages, 16, 14, 12.
Yeah, and what you were saying earlier, Mary, about the videos, I've watched how people go into the wilderness with their children and teach their children how to spot shoot, how to shoot different guns and stuff like that. What you were saying about the hollow tip bullets is a real good piece of information, because you want to try to lessen up lessen the risk of killing somebody. You just really trying to protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to put somebody down, opposed to having a slug or something that's going to, blow up in you and really cause some damage.
Okay. That is some good information.
If I'm wrong, Mr. Stevens, let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of people, they may have rifles, like high power rifles as a personal home defense, which is not a good idea, because those travel a long way. They're meant for distance, and they pretty much very high powered. So I have a brick house. I can shoot my AK-47 and AR-15 in my house at an intruder. It may go through them, go out my house, go through another house.
Oh,
that's
my God.
So, that's not good for personal protection.
Right.
Handgun, or actually a 12 gauge shotgun.
Right. So it's good to
method for home defense. For two reasons. One, you can get different variations of any kind of firearm bullets. But shotguns, you can get buckshots, which are like pellets, BBs.
Yes.
And when you actually shoot, it's like it disperses a pattern. So let's say I'm running through your front door, and if you shoot at me, well, you can hit 2 or 3 people coming through your front door at one time, right? They have different loads, so you can lessen the damage. You can have more damage. They even have like ammunition. So if you have a personal defense home, you can purchase online, and in some stores that it got rubber bullets or things that won't necessarily penetrate drywall. You get a lower, velocity bullet. But in all actuality, is no NRA instructor will tell you anything other than shoot to kill. Now you don't have to kill, because let's say I break in your house and I come through the door and I'm trying to stab you. If you shoot me once or twice and I'm down, I'm no longer coming towards you, then you can't continue to shoot me. Okay. Now, if I get up and I'm steady coming to you, then you shoot to the threat. It's no longer a threat. Okay. And then at this point, you have to, get on the phone, call the police, but you want to secure yourself, because I may have 2 or 3 other people with me. So the biggest key to all of this is being aware of your surroundings, right? So we talk about gun safety, and even with kids, adults, you have to pay attention to threats. If something's out of the norm, you need to let people know you're aware. If we wanted to go out and commit a robbery right now, who are we looking for? We're looking for the person that's not paying attention to us, right? You go shopping at the mall, you have someone out, you're waiting for a parking spot, you're waiting 10 minutes. This person is on their cell phone, purse sitting outside the car, merchandise you just purchased outside the car. You just saying, rob me. You want to get in, get everything secured, get out the spot, move on. You're coming home late at night. You don't want to be texting on your phone. You don't want to wait till you get to your door to get your keys out and come in. You want to do everything fluidly. You got to pay attention to everything that's going on around you, because the firearms are a tool of last resort. So with all the training, all information you can have all that. But if you're not preventing yourself from becoming a victim, then that's what will occur.
Make sure that your house is lit up at night.
Exactly. Safe.
Make sure you put those lights.
Yeah.
You got to leave your porch light on.
The driveway shoveled if it's winter time. You don't want trees and shrubs growing up behind, because now I can hide behind the window. Or, you don't want a ladder on the side of your house, so I can use that to gain entry into your home.
Oh my God, this is some deep information. So Terrell, last summer, and my sons and my husband always was like, I was one that would pull up in the driveway, sit in the car 10 minutes before I get out talking on the phone. I no longer do any of those things, but I was at Outback in Southfield at the Outback on Greenfield Road in Southfield. Okay. I was waiting. I'm always I used to be always trying to get a million things done in a day. So if my partner had not showed up yet, so I parked in the back doing some work on the phone. I got out to get my briefcase out the trunk. I am good at making sure doors are locked, but the car is automatic. So I'm sitting there literally like when I drive, my gun sits right on the side of me, right?
Which is completely legal with the CPL.
Yes. So as I entered back into the vehicle, soon as the doors locked, the guy must have been lowered on my passenger side. He rose up out of nowhere and grabbed the handle of the passenger side.
Wow.
My door's locked. He grabbed twice, like in disbelief, like I had just sit in my car. And I guess a lot of women might sit in the car, especially if you don't have the doors on auto and they lock.
Right.
I told you I had my window cracked just a little bit. I looked at him. He looked me in the eyes in such surprise he couldn't get into the vehicle. I picked up my gun, I raised it. I said, "You got the wrong one today, right?" This is what tripped me out. He bags back from my vehicle. He didn't turn and walk with his back. He bagged walking backwards. He never turned his back towards me. Another vehicle, he gets in his vehicle and he pulls off. Another vehicle pulls off behind him because now they flying out the parking lot. And I'm saying to myself, why was it two vehicles? I didn't understand that until I did my research. One jumps into the passenger side, demands you to drive at gunpoint, and the other vehicle follows behind. So it was two of them sitting in the parking lot waiting for someone like me.
Waiting on you.
Paying attention. It's just luckily that I always, by habit, even if I got auto doors, I always check to see. He hit me as soon as I sit my behind in the seat.
Right.
It changed my life from then on because I could not even be here today or telling a different story.
Exactly.
I went immediately on Facebook just asking ladies and anyone that'll listen, it's real out here. They were sitting in the parking lot, like you just said, waiting for that one person that was not paying attention, and I was that person.
Right.
And just like you said, this is the reason why I said 25.
Huh?
This is the reason why I said I believe 25% women should be armed. Because if you wasn't armed that night, he could have busted a window to get in. But he seen that gun and got on.
I said you have the wrong one today.
And yeah. Luckily you were aware, but like let's say even it could have been a complete stranger. If he had hopped in, that having citizens armed, someone could have came in your defense and prevented that attack as well. Now you pull your firearm with the intent to use it as you did, but if you were smart, because if you'd have shot, he's bagging back. So he wasn't an immediate threat anymore. He didn't try to continue to gain entry. He was bagging back. And that brings another point up. You can never shoot anyone in the back, right? Okay. So if he turned around, let's say I break in your house and I start choking you, you're able to grab your weapon. Once you grab your weapon, I see it. I turn around and I went around the house. Well, you pissed off. You're angry. You're upset because of what I just did to you. You can't shoot me at this point because I'm no longer an immediate threat.
Crazy.
It is, especially when it comes to defense. But the main key in all of this is being armed and trained. Exactly. It limits, it takes away the risk factor, not completely, but a lot.
It reduces it. Like you said, it's very important for women to carry because, you know, we have to protect our women and children. But with that being said, you know, we need the women and children to be aware and the men as well, too, you know, but because at that point, I'm a criminal. That's what I do. If I know that in Michigan, I'm taking this, it could be a 50-50 chance this person I'm trying to rob is armed or not. I'm less likely to commit this crime. You know, it's like alarm systems. Well, if people know you have alarm systems, camera systems, doesn't mean they won't try to break in. But it's kind of a deterrent.
Well, if you know what you're doing, you can act as if. I've done it before in the streets. I've acted if I had a weapon, and then it made people get on. You know what I'm saying? Okay. If you know what to do with that, so it lets them know, okay, he holding, you know, he got something. So all that is a part of the training too. If you happen to leave home and you don't have your weapon, there's other things that we can do to let a predator know today ain't the day.
Okay, so Terrell, in your opinion, being the professional that you are, what do you consider a nice, easy to handle handgun for a lady to carry? Because I have two.
For one, the NRA standard is you want at least to carry a 9mm in bullet size, right?
Yeah.
So like with firearms, I mean, I have a ton of guns. I have like 3 Glocks. I really like Glocks for the price and the quality. They fire, but for handgun selection, it's really going to come down to how it feels in the person's hand.
Oh.
But I would recommend, like, the Glock, they have Glock 26, the Glock 43, which are 9mm. They're subcompact weapons, easy to conceal, easy to use. But at least a 9mm, and you want to purchase a quality firearm, right? Because they have cheaper guns on the market you get for $200 or $300.
Yes.
But your life is dependent on that firearm operating all the time, So you want to buy quality, but for personal protection, a 9mm bullet size, and then the platform is going to depend on you, how you want to carry, how you're going to conceal it, because there's tons of, that's a whole nother conversation as well as how you're going to carry. If you're going to, a lot of people like to carry in the purse. You can, it's not the best idea, because what if someone steals your purse, or what if your purse is in the back seat of the car?
Yes.
And like
that's
you stated,
for sure. Is
right.
What is the proper way, or do you think the most easy is accessible, safest way for ladies and men to carry? And that's definitely another whole topic that we are going to bring to the SOS show. So the next question I have for you, that's what you hit, is about the purse. I've heard, sometimes purses are being snatched. So if someone snatched your purse, now they have your gun.
Exactly.
I want to know the information. How can we reach you? Because I'm looking at other people that might be watching the show that want to take your virtual class, and I would like to collaborate with you to actually do a collaboration to do a virtual class on the SOS show. But how can individuals reach you to get training from you?
You can email me completedefensetraining@outlook.com, or my telephone number is 248-667-2067.
Could you repeat that, please?
completedefensetraining@outlook.com, and telephone number 248-667-2067.
Oh, that's great. This has been actually great information. We have a couple of comments that I'm gonna read. Pat Candon is okay. Quincy Jones, isn't it good for a teenager below the age of 16 to handle a firearm? Remember, other children from different countries could be watching, most especially when they started posting it on social media, and they definitely post it all the time on social media.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, it depends on the child, the teenager's maturity level. I mean, obviously, we see some of the others nationalities. They have children that are troubled.
They do.
Yeah, I wouldn't educate them and give them firearms. But if you have a mature child, I mean, that's a discretion for you at a certain age. Like I said, my daughter is 6. Pretty soon, I'll be, showing her how to handle and different things like that. But yeah, you definitely need to bring the education to them. Show them that a firearm is not just for self-defense; it's also a sport.
Yeah.
We're talking about it in this light, but it's also recreation. It's like reading a book. Going fishing. There's several different variations of firearms you can use. I mean, and it's an Olympic sport as well. So, that's just one side of it that we're discussing now, but there's also a pleasure to it as well.
I love it. Well, I'm going to tell you, you have definitely gave us so much great information, and I love to talk too with you. I'm going to ask you first, Timothy, we talk about a lot of great things tonight. If there's anything that's most important, what would you like the audience to leave with after watching this show tonight?
First of all, I appreciate you, Mr. Stevens, with the information that you gave us today.
Appreciate you guys.
If I had to leave everybody with something, it's being Black people. we tend to believe that some things aren't for us,
right?
When everything is for us.
Exactly.
Let's get conscious. Let's get trained. Let's take advantage of the professionals, not in a bad way, that look like us, that can teach us what to do. And we have to be humble with it, because we in an era of time now to where there's trained and there's untrained, and we got to protect one another.
Absolutely. And I'm going to ask you the same question, Mr. Stevens. I know it was so much great information, but could you leave us with one thing that you would like for them to remember out of all the things we discussed tonight?
A firearm is a tool of last resort. So we want to make sure we're educated, legally able to obtain and do so, and know that, it's a constitutional right, and the responsibility, we have to ourselves, to be able to protect, one another or your family member, friend. Because, as in 30 seconds, numerous people can be killed. If you call the police, you want to give yourself a fighting chance, to survive for another day. So, we should be more inclined to look at it in a positive light and get legally, trained and licensed.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would like to thank you for being a guest on the SOS show. This was some great information, and I look forward to having you again. And thanks everyone for listening. Please share. I'll see you next week on Hot Topic Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in with the SOS show with Mary Evans. Have a great evening.
Appreciate you, big bro. Y'all be good.
All right, you too.